we'll be on our belly on the ball next. You may want to use a padding for your knees. You can also use a towel or a blanket or a pillow. Just make sure that your knees feel comfortable. We don't stay on our knees for very long, but we will come back to our knees between positions. So let's start by letting the belly relax over the ball, bringing the hands down to the mat, and just take a moment to let your body relax over the ball. Let your neck and shoulders relax. Let your tailbone relax down towards the floor, feeling a nice stretch in your lower back. Try to maintain that sensation of the tailbone reaching down towards the floor. We'll bring our hands to the front of the ball. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. As you inhale, we're going to lift the head and the front of the shoulders slightly. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lifting the head and shoulders. Exhale, lower back down. I'm going to start to lift a little higher each time. You just progress as you feel comfortable. Try to keep that lengthened feeling in the lower back. So you're not involving the low back on this. You're really trying to strengthen those upper back muscles. Lifting the head and chest, maybe lifting the front of the shoulders. If this feels pretty good to you, you can take the hands off the front of the ball, bring them to the front of the chest as you lift. Elbows stay high, shoulder blades drawing back and down. If this variation feels pretty good, you can take hands to shoulders. A little more involvement of the shoulders and upper back in this variation. Keep the abdominal muscles drawing in away from the ball as you lift. The final version is quite challenging. The hands come behind the head, so you're going to feel a lot more involvement from the upper back as the head and chest lifts. We'll take just two more, whichever variation you're working with. Last one. And exhale, release the arms to the mat, release the head and chest, and just let your body relax over the ball for a moment. Let's lift the head. We're going to be moving into an all fours position, walking the hands forward slightly, curling the toes under. Take your feet a little wider than the hips and try to get the heels pointing up towards the ceiling. Sometimes our feet tend to want to roll out or roll in on this exercise. If possible, think of the tops of the thighs staying engaged, heels pointing towards the ceiling. One more thing to keep in mind is the positioning of the head and neck. Ideally, you have a nice long back of the neck, shoulders reaching away from the ears. Draw the chin and nose in slightly, lengthening down the back of the neck. Draw the navel in away from your spine. We're going to be lifting one arm up by the ear as you inhale. Exhale, lower the arm down. Just testing your balance on 3 limbs. Reaching up. Exhale down. Let's take the legs next. Lifting up, lowering down. When the leg lifts, keep those abs firm so you don't collapse in the lower back. Now, if you feel ready, you can take opposite arm, opposite leg lifting. This is called pointer position. Hold for a moment, feeling your balance, and lower back down. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Feel your hands pushing the floor away from you so the upper body stays nice and engaged through the exercise. Check in with the neck. So the next version of the pointer is a little more challenging. If you feel ready, go ahead and try it. Otherwise, just continue with opposite arm, opposite leg. I'm going to reach the arm and leg up. Take the arm out to the side and bend the knee. Really keep the abdominal muscles drawing in. Extend the arm and leg back to your starting position and place the hand and foot on the mat. And let's try it on the other side. You might find that you have one side that feels a little bit more stable than the other, and that's perfectly normal. Let's take it one more time, each side. Last one. Really keep those abdominals firm. That will help you balance here. And come back to center. Next up are the I's, Y's, and T's. And for this exercise, I recommend walking your feet back a little bit so that you have the ball supporting your rib cage. The arms come forward, palms facing one another. Now, if you find that your feet are floating up from the mat, you're going to want to walk those feet back even more. Tuck your tailbone in here. Really draw the belly up and in. And you want that nice dorsal glide position, the head lengthened, nose and chin drawing in. Palms are facing one another. We'll reach the arms up towards the ears as you inhale. Exhale, lower down. Just the arms are moving on this exercise. You're going to feel the muscles down the back and sides of the ribs. Let's take one more. This is our I. Let's take the arms to the width of the mat. These are our Y's. Reaching up, keeping the arms slightly wide as they lift, lowering back down. Try to keep the tops of the shoulders reaching away from the ears as the arms lift. This one is a great postural exercise. You're really going to feel your upper back muscles on this. Next are the T's. Arms come out to the side and lift. And maybe today you just try one or two of each and work your way up to doing 4 repetitions of each. Keep breathing. One more T. And relax the arms down. Next up is a more advanced version of the I's, Y's, and T's. We're going to start with the arms in that I position, but we're going to actually lift one leg away from the mat, and you try to keep the leg lifted as you take your I's. If you're not quite ready for this variation, feel free to keep both feet on the mat. Just take 2 of each, 2 I's, 2 Y's, and 2 T's. So the good news is you've completed one leg, but you have another leg. Go ahead and float that leg up, firm the abdominals, and lift those arms when you're ready. Arms into that Y position. Keep the abs firm. Keep the lower back nice and long, just lifting from those lats. And 2 more of the T's. Last one. Relax the arms, relax the legs. Go ahead and let your body relax over the ball. And then start to come slowly back up. We're going to do a stretch for the lats, taking the palms to the top of the ball. Reach the ball forward as you sit your hips back towards your heels. Now make sure this feels comfortable on the shoulders. You don't want to feel any strain as the hips reach back. If this feels pretty comfortable and you feel like you can get a little more stretch in the chest and shoulders and back, reach the ball further out and draw the chest towards the floor. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale. And start to roll slowly back up. Think of bringing each vertebrae back up, one on top of the other, one at a time. Let your head be the last thing to come up. We'll take that stretch towards one side of your mat, pushing the hips back towards the heels, lowering the chest towards the floor. Take a nice deep breath in into the open side of the ribs. And exhale. Walk the ball back through center, over to the other side of your mat, sitting your hips back. Take a nice deep breath into the open side of the ribs. And exhale. Then walk the ball back to center and roll back up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Let your head be the last thing to come back up. It's one of the most challenging exercises you can do with the stability ball. It's great for core strength, upper body. Really, it's a full body exercise, but you want to start slow with the plank and work your way up. You also might want, again, padding under your knees when you start. We're going to bring the belly onto the ball, hands to the floor, extend your legs, and start to walk your hands out just until your feet have lifted off the mat. Now hold here. I've still got my hips on the ball. I'm going to check from my toes to my head what's going on. I'm drawing my inner thighs together. The buttocks are firm. The belly is lifting up and away from the floor. My hands are pushing the floor away. Neck is lengthened, and my chin and nose are drawing slightly in. You may find that this plank position is where you want to stay for a while until you feel strong enough in your core muscles and your upper body. From here, just carefully walk your hands back, lower your feet to the mat, and come back up. I'm going to show two more variations of the plank. They'll get increasingly more challenging. Only proceed when you feel ready and strong enough. This is a more intermediate level of the plank. I still have my thighs on the ball, but more of my body is off of the ball and unsupported. The arms are pressing firmly into the mat. Legs are squeezing together. Abdominals are drawing up and in. This is a more intermediate version of the plank. Walk the hands carefully back. Bring your feet back to the mat and bend the knees. Next up, I'll show you a more advanced version. If you find that the plank bothers your wrists, you can also come into a forearm plank. Let me show you that first. In the forearm plank, make sure you're not sunk down into the shoulders. Push up through the forearms, lift up through the legs, squeeze the legs together, scoop the belly in. Let your nose move towards your thumbs. This is a nice position to come into if you feel that the plank is too much on your wrists. Carefully come out of the forearm plank, bringing your feet back to the floor, and rest. So let me show you the advanced plank now. Walk the hands out. Now you may want to stop here with the ball under the knees or the shins. You can come further, but I'll stop here for now. And again, less of your body is supported by the ball, so more of your body is going to have to be supported by your arms and your core muscles. From here, if you feel pretty good in this plank position, you can try a single leg lift, floating one leg off the ball at a time. When you're ready to come out of the plank, just walk carefully with the hands back in. Make sure the legs stay glued together until your feet are ready to come back to the mat, and you can relax back on your knees. So next up, we'll do a different variation of the plank. For this, you'll probably want some padding under your knees. We're going to take the hands on top of the ball, lift the chest up, relax the shoulders back and down, tuck your tailbone in. I'll show you two variations. The first is a nice way to modify this exercise. You're going to bend at the hips, lowering the arms onto the ball, lowering the ball forward. When you're ready to come back, lift up through the upper body, coming back up to upright. As you feel more comfortable with the forearm plank and the rollout, you can take your hips with you to roll back out. Eventually, you'll be able to come into a position where you're in a straight line from the top of your head all the way to your knees. If you feel any tension in your low back when you're doing this, go back to the variation where you have a bend at the hips as you roll out. You can also roll to one side of the mat. working your oblique abdominals. And finally, the more advanced version, the ball starts a little bit further away. Lower the body towards the ball. From here, hold your plank as you pull your elbows in and press away. Think of pressing the forearms firmly down into the ball so you don't end up sinking into your shoulders. And then when you're ready, pull back up out of your plank position. Rest the hands on top of the ball. We're going to reach the ball forward and sit the hips back towards your heels. You can push the ball forward until you feel a comfortable position for your shoulders. Drop the chest towards the floor. Take a nice deep breath in here. And exhale. And another nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, just roll back up one vertebrae at a time. Let your head be the last thing to come back up. And you're done with your planks.